Hello y'all, this is the Age of Empires 2 multiplayer scenario, The 100 Years' War by Il Covenanti, set in 1400. Tensions are rising all across France that may soon boil over into civil war between the many separate factions. Threats loom from the south and across the Dover Strait. Will France be able to unite against this threat, or will the realm fall apart? Listing off the players and factions: blue is the crown of France, red is the crown of England, green, House of Armagnac; yellow, House of Burgundy; teal, the anti-pope in Avignon; purple, House of Anjou; gray, House of Montfort; and orange, Crown of Navarre. With all of the background information and key players explained, let's get right into the scenario. We are immediately greeted with some messages telling us the background of what has taken place. Henry IV has just gotten his throne after a civil war, and the King of France has gone insane, opening the way for other powers in France to possibly take control and choose to support either side. And Navarre has entered into the war through a royal marriage, supporting the English, which will give two fronts in their conflict. Named castles and cities like Nantes here gives resources over time, as that will help supplement the income of any player who holds it. The papacy in Avignon has multiple monasteries spread around the map that give him resources, but they also have a relic inside of them which provide additional income. But this can be a little bit of a sticking point for anybody who's also nearby, as can be seen with these Breton forces here. The first open attacks are underway, with the English vessels raiding the French coast. The French repaid a favor by harassing Southampton with a few ships of their own. English ally Navarre is awarded with some longbowmen to help in any sort of their long-ranged endeavors. France constructs a castle in Upper Normandy to help ward off any sort of coastal raids or possible transport ships landing outside of Paris. The English fleet makes a cunning attack, attacking La Rochelle outside of Poitiers. The anti-pope of Avignon leaves a cardinal in Bruges, giving him additional income. By keeping John of Montfort in Paris, Brittany is awarded with French knights every few minutes. They are heroic and strong. The English navy shows dominance of the seas and terrorizes French forests. The purple House of Anjou attempts to intimidate teal by standing between the borders of Marseille and Avignon with a huge army. Navarre begins supporting their English ally and starts by weakening the defenses of Poitiers. Red attempts to establish a new foothold in France with an army led by the Duke of York and Earl of Salisbury, supported by Navarrese Genottes and heavy cavalry. They attempt to build a castle north of Paris. Teal and purple will go to war at last over the borders, with Teal's Genoese crossbowmen pushing back the purple cavalry. Red brings siege to Paris, but it is fended off by a group of Norman knights. The king sails off Narbonne to the Armagnac faction, depriving him of some more resources, but also appeasing one of his vassals. Holding this castle is one of Green's victory conditions. Purple hits Teal where his money is, sending a group of paladins and hand cannoneers to raise the Abbey of Saint Denis, depriving Teal of his income, which he would usually receive from this abbey. More destruction of Teal's monasteries to help prevent him from having any sort of finances at all. Navarre attacks southern France, while the crown is occupied with fending off the English in the north nearby Paris. Burgundy builds an array of military buildings, mostly stables, to help build a vast and powerful horde of paladins that can destroy anything they come across. The papacy of Avignon excommunicates the House of Anjou, weakening their income and starting rebellions in some places. Burgundy now supports the French king in battle, the price of which is having their tower in Paris destroyed. With its destruction, Burgundy loses some influence in the city, and England overcomes another obstacle in their siege. Brittany declares war on the House of Anjou, attacking Angers with a herd of siege rams that destroy the fortress defending the city. The tide of the siege turns with the arrival of Orange Navarre cavalry coming to aid the House of Anjou. Burgundians raid the English camp outside of Paris, attacking and destroying a siege workshop. In the process, in response, the English move their idle fleet to attack the Burgundian city of Bruges. The French make a counterattack, pushing back the English longbowmen outside of Paris, but run into trouble fighting against the halberdiers being created at the multitude of barracks, just more French monasteries burning in the countryside. Practically normal at this point. Avion forces assault Montpellier and Provence. Provence is the special unit creation tower for those adjuvant raider Tarkins you probably saw earlier, but for now it is saved by throwing axemen sent from Marseille. The war in Angers has been transformed. It is now a battle of attrition between the Navarre castle and the Breton castle. The second French counteroffensive at Paris takes place, destroying a castle with petards, but they are repelled by an English fleet watching the coast. A few Breton siege rams attack the defenses of Angers, and the House of Anjou is unfortunate in the fact they cannot build their walls to defend the city. This game's version of the Burgundian Armagnac Civil War is in full swing, with Armagnac supporters attacking the countryside of Burgundy. A marksmanship contest has begun across the bridge between Nevers and Milan. Thiel, who had been holding pretty well to this point, is betrayed by Orange, who is now helping the House of Anjou attack Avion. In response to this backstabbing, Thiel excommunicates the King of Navarre, leading to a rebellion that pesters the economy of Orange. Nevers is almost destroyed in an Armagnac assault, but is saved by a group of Burgundian cavalry and Flemish pikemen. The English achieve a major breakthrough and destroy the castle of Paris, causing the majority of French forces to retreat across the river. The anti-Pope in Avion is defeated in the 2v1, even after achieving some minor successes such as destroying Provence. The schism between the Church in Rome and Avion is mended, with a group of Hospitaller knights being sent to aid the city. French paladins forced the English longbowmen to temporarily withdraw. The French have built a new castle and fortified the other side of Paris. Bitter fighting continues to take place between the two parties. Orange and Purple are quick to help themselves to Thiel's relic stash. That's if they can avoid being shot by the still standing towers. Battle of Paris. The English destroy the Cathedral of Notre Dame. The Armagnac army, made up of throwing axemen and hand cannoneers, destroys Nevers, weakening the defenses of the Burgundian faction. Breton siege rams continue to renovate the walls at Angers. The Crown of France sends an army of paladins to ward off the Navarrans, who have been helping the English this entire time. They are not at war with Anjou, but it will make the conquest of the city easier for Brittany. Without Navarran support, the city and castle of Angers will firmly be in Brittany control, with French knights coming in to defeat any form of resistance. The French are not lacking in courage and stage an attack to destroy the English castle of Paris. With the onslaught of paladins, hand cannoneers, and skirmishers, the castle of Paris is overwhelmed and falls. Burgundian cavalry attempt to drive off Armagnac attackers, but due to the close range proximity of the throwing axemen and hand cannoneers, they are able to destroy a whole army of paladins. The cavalry defeated, the Armagnacs send in their own paladins to destroy any resistance that the Burgundians may have left. England rebuilds Paris again, this time guarding it with longbowmen and a group of halberdiers. Henry IV dies, making Henry V Lancaster the new King of England. Navarre amasses a new army, probably in an effort to take back Angers, which has now been fortified by the Bretons. The Armagnac faction lays siege to the city of Dijon, killing off any soldiers sent to defend it. With its fall, it will be another victory condition accomplished by Green in order to win the scenario. In the continuing seesaw that is the French-English War, Paris, controlled by England, falls for a second time. With the fall of Dijon, Burgundy has lost half of their territory. It will provide as a new base for the Armagnac faction. The castle of Bruges is laid to waste by a combination of Armagnac supporters and English rams. With its destruction, Armagnac is victorious, as all they needed was to destroy the castle within the city. That was the 100 Years War scenario. If you enjoyed the scenario, make sure to check it out in the description. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. All are welcome to my Discord server, so feel free to join and check out my social media as well.